The Eastbourne Miniature Steam Railway series. Written by Christopher Audrey. Eastbourne's Wedding Special. One morning, Mr. Mike, Mrs. Rachel, Miss Cheryl, and Mr. Luke came to the railway in great excitement. "We're going to have a wedding here," they told the engines. "Mr. John is getting married to Miss Irene, and then she'll be Mrs. Irene. They work for the bus company, so we shall have a special train for them." "Who's going to pull the special train?" Weston asked. "Can I?" all the engines asked at once. Mr. Luke grinned. "We shall have to see who behaves best," he said. "It should be me, of course," said General later. "I was first here. There will be a lot of people put in Weston. They'll need a strong engine." "Perhaps Miss Irene might like a smaller engine," suggested Rachel. Oily said nothing. He knew he wouldn't be chosen. A new engine, a very smart one called Eastbourne, said nothing either. It had only just come and didn't expect to be picked. Everyone became very busy. At last the day came, and Mr. Luke came to the shed early. The engines were polished until they gleamed, and the coaches shone too. Then they took him outside, and while Mr. Luke arranged them round the turntable, Mr. Mike explained what he wanted. "Remember," he finished, "I don't want to hear a sound until I say so." The buzz of excitement died away. The engines waited in silence. At last, after what seemed like ages, they saw a big old-fashioned bus come into the park. Out stepped Mr. John and his friends, all dressed in their very best clothes. Steam hissed through General's safety valve. "Shh," he said quietly. Mr. John looked around. Mrs. Rachel and Miss Cheryl came out of the cafe. "Welcome," they said. "Please will you make your way to the station platform?" Mrs. Rachel pointed to where flags and flowers made the station look a perfect picture. When they had gone, Mrs. Rachel pressed a button on a radio telephone. Mr. John and his friends found their way to Windy Ridge platform and looked up and down the line. Beside the turntable, the engines waited silently. "What's happening?" Mr. John asked them. "Shh," said General again. At last, in the distance, they heard a quiet whistle. Soon, the train, its engine now whistling loudly, came round the corner and rumbled across the suspension bridge. On it were Miss Irene and her friends, and pulling in, sparkling in spotless green paint, was Eastbourne. "Look at me now," he puffed proudly, as he brought the train smoothly under Wadey's Bridge and into the platform. At once, everything became a bub of talking and laughter, and the engines joined in too. They all whistled very loudly indeed when Miss Irene became Mrs. Irene. Everyone agreed that it had been the best wedding they had ever seen.